As nice as it is to have an unbeaten start to the season, it really is time we started showing some of this supposedly title favourites form that we're supposed to have in us. So we want wins today. Lots of wins. Hello and welcome to part 18 of It's Coming Home. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have two games in the Northern Premier League. We're at home against Whitby Town and at home against Radcliffe. Since you were last with me, as alluded to in the little intro there and mentioned on Twitter, if you're following Holme FC on Twitter, we have had an unbeaten start to the league season. We've already managed to get ourselves knocked out of the FA Cup and knocked out of the League Cup, so we're not having the best of times in the Cups. We're definitely going to be able to focus on the league this season, but although it is an unbeaten start, 5 of the 7 unbeaten games we've had in the league have been draws. We're struggling to score goals, which is a little bit of a worry. We're definitely missing Anthony Harris. In fact, let's have a look to see what he's up to up in the Football League, like Mr. Fancy Pants that he is. Playing for Shrewsbury. How are you getting on, Anthony? 5 games, no goals. You ready to come back to us on loan yet? No, first team commitments. We will keep trying forever. In fact, while we're having a look through, has Dean Morris played any games for Rangers, do we think? Let's have a little look. Are you playing, Dean? You're not. Are you ready to come to us on loan yet? No. Okay, well, we won't worry about either of those. And we have signed quite a few players since you were last with me. Full details of all of them are over on the Twitter, but as usual, I'll introduce them to you as they make their way into the team so you don't miss out on that if you're only following along on the videos. And a lot of these, because we've signed so many now, a lot of them will never play for us anyway, so you're not really missing anything by not seeing their full profiles. But one of them is going to make his debut for us today, and that is Jordan O'Brien, who's a new attacking midfielder that we've brought in. 20 years old, 2.5-star current ability, 4-star potential ability, previously of Sheffield Wednesday and Corby Town, just down the road from, down the road from home, in fact, just down the road from where I live. So Jordan O'Brien is going to play today as part of our very familiar looking diamond system. In fact, Harrison Davis, has he made his debut yet? He's played 3 games. It's been a few days. I haven't played this game since before Christmas, and I'm a little bit, I can't remember who's who, but the rest of that team, I recognise all those names. Davis, I didn't. Is he one of the latest swathe of players who's come in, or did I sign him in the summer and then just forget about him? Oh my word, we signed him all the way back here. So, this is the team for today's game. We've got Collins in goal. A back four of Critchlow Noble, Thacker, Parry and Davis. I know all about H. Davis. What was his first name? I know all about Harrison Davis. Shane Phillips is going to be our defensive midfielder with Headley and Benson in front of him. There's been a lot of love for Headley down in the comments. He started the season on the bench for us with Leathers starting in that more attacking central midfield spot. But I agree with a lot of people saying Jaheim Headley could be a little bit special. So we are giving him a little bit more game time. And Benson is just a great box-to-box midfielder. So it's very much a case of we need someone to play alongside Benson, but Benson is going to be playing. Then we've got O'Brien in behind Mick Powell and Jake Wright. Jake Wright is certainly no Anthony Harris. If we have a look at how his start to life at home has been, 2 goals in 7 appearances. That's not the kind of form we expect from a home striker. And I know we said when we signed him that he wasn't really coming in to score goals. He was there to be the link-up man, to set stuff up for Mick Powell. He's only got 1 assist as well, and he's really not playing very well. A lot of the players that I've been bringing in are wide players, because I am toying with playing Powell up front with wingers either side of him. And because, even O'Brien is another attacking midfielder who's come in. He's still not any good. We're struggling to bring in attacking midfielders who are any good. If we can bring in a couple of decent wide men, it's definitely an option at some point to go to a 4-3-3 and just have Powell as the focus of attacks and see if we can have a bit more joy coming through the wide areas, because these two aren't really working. But I think it would be a little bit harsh on this system and these players to abandon it straight away, because ultimately we are unbeaten in the league. It has been, for a newly promoted team to be 8th, unbeaten, with a game in hand, a win in the game in hand, putting us up to 4th. It would be a little bit harsh to start changing the tactic completely in those circumstances, because although the media think we're going to romp to the league title, the board are looking for playoffs, which I still think is ambitious. In reality, a normal football fan off the back of a promotion is going to be thinking, if we can have a nice, comfortable mid-table season, that'd be grand. But we're overperforming, to my mind, although everyone else thinks we're underperforming. So let's assertively say, I do fully expect you to go out and win this match. Mick Powell's on board with that. Mick Powell knows what's what. Everybody else is like, what? We're home. No one had heard of us 3 years ago. Whereas Mick Powell is Mr. Home and knows that we should be winning these games. We want to be getting ourselves into the Football League. Football League by, what year is it? Football League by 2025. Is that doable? That must be, 2020 now? 5 years to get to the Football League? That's got to be doable. And we don't even have to get promoted this season to do it. But once again, Jake Wright, not really there. We don't really notice him, and that's a worry. And unless we can bring in another good striker to go alongside Powell, and it's going to be difficult to do because Powell is so good and Harris was so good that even a good striker for this level is going to be a disappointment. Jake Wright probably is a good tier 7 striker, but he's going to look disappointing in the context that he's in. So perhaps it is better that we just play the one striker, the one that we know is a Football League quality player, and focus the whole team around creating chances for him, which we're not really doing at the moment. As you can see by the fact, we've not created any chances for him. We're struggling to get the ball. We've not had a shot on target. Where are Whitby in the league? Whitby are roughly equivalent to us, and we've been rubbish, haven't we? Struggled to make inroads attacking, struggled for possession, poor shots to touches ratio in the penalty area. So when we have got forward, we've just faffed about with it a little bit. Let's try and be passionate. We've been the better team here. They know that's not true. I know that's not true. Why did I click that as an option? What a numbskull. Right, Critchlow Noble, ball forward to absolutely no one. Benson with a chance to stick a free kick into the top corner, and it goes just wide. But that's kind of the sort of thing we've been doing on this run. We don't concede a lot of goals. We do look reasonably solid at the back. We're just not really creating anything. And then we score a goal from a set piece, or Mick Powell does something just in the individual bit of specialness. But we're not really attacking with any kind of consistency or oomph. And it is really, we win the games where we have a bit of something special happen. The rest of the time we draw them, and it is a bit frustrating knowing how good we were last year, and how good we were last year playing against some teams from this level. In the cup runs that we had, we were beating teams at this level quite comfortably, but now we've not got the oomph. Let's demand more. I want more oomph out of you. That's what we're looking for. Oomph. Right, here is Powell. Very deep, very wide. Not really where we want Mick Powell. O'Brien goes wide, crosses into Jake Wright, and Wright does score. It's his 5th goal of the season, 3rd in the league. And, I said he needed to step up. I said those two needed to step up today. So I guess I can't complain too much that that's been the source of the goal. Our attacking midfielder drifts wide and crosses it over to our supporting striker, and we go 1-0 up on 63 minutes, and that goal wouldn't have happened if we'd have dropped the two of them and brought some wingers in, I guess. But then also Mick Powell wouldn't be the one chasing in from back there. He'd be camped out over here with the two wide players, maybe creating chances like that for him all the time. Benson now have a free kick. The save falls to Headley. Headley makes it 2-0 on 66 minutes, and that was just individual brilliance. It was another great free kick from Benson, and Headley's just the first there to follow up. And it's a tidy little finish. It looked like he was going to scuff it wide for a second there, but 2-0 up, and suddenly things are feeling a little bit more comfortable. Perhaps all I needed to do all along was demand more. Mick Powell is not playing very well. We're going to bring on Cameron Archer and just to put a jolt through Mick Powell so he realises he's not a guaranteed starter all the time. We don't have anyone to come on for Critchlow Noble to send him the same message. Benson, we don't really have anyone else who can play box-to-box. I don't know about John Buckley. Can you do box-to-box? Who are you? You've just signed, have you? Oh, are you the good one? You are the good one. We're going to bring this guy on. He's another one that we just signed now, and he looked so good that we gave him actual money. But he's the one who's been at Blackburn until last season. Never played a game for anybody. This does feel like an opportunity to get him onto the pitch and have a little look at him. What do you want to be? You can't really do anything properly. You're worth 275 quid a week. Play as a box-to-box midfielder. We need to get him training as a box-to-box midfielder and get him used to playing in that role, because that's where he's going to be. Although whether he manages to force Benson out of the team, I don't know. That is a lovely finish. And all of a sudden, with 17 minutes to go, there's only one goal in it again. And this seems to be something that happens a little bit more to us this season. We are fairly solid defensively, but we are a little bit susceptible to that. I don't know if that's an issue with our goalkeeper maybe, but our goalkeeper, according to the Media Dream 11, we've got the best goalkeeper in the division. So it shouldn't be a goalkeeper issue. Right, I'm going to bring Ben Cottrell on. Ben Cottrell is one of the reasons why we're looking at switching up the system, because he's a natural left winger and very good at it. So we're trying to bring in someone who can do it on the right-hand side as well. We haven't really found the man yet, but we are actively keeping an eye on him. What we could do, I guess, stick him out on the left, stick him out on the right, and play Archer through the middle. You can then do that. And I guess you should maybe be the more attacking of the two, because you're an actual striker. And could we maybe free this guy up a little bit? What's a Mazzala? Half spaces. Don't know what any of this means. A central halfway. No, we're just going to leave him doing something I understand. I know what box-to-box means. I know I've used Mazzalas in the past, but I generally stumble across them and don't really know what they do. And certainly when I'm adjusting players around in a tactic, I don't really want to be fiddling around with fancy positions that players at this level shouldn't know what a Mazzala is. Sheesh. Right, it looks like we are just about clinging on. We haven't looked any better playing the 4-3-3 than we did with the diamond, but I guess we have got Jake Wright out on the wing, so that's, he's not a winger, is he? And we didn't have Mick Powell up front. But let's passionately say, I mean, it was a good win. I'm being negative and moaning a lot, but we are, what are we, 4th in the league, 5th in the league? Not lost yet this season. We're one of 2 undefeated teams in the league, and we're newly promoted. So really, I should be well happy with how it's going. Hopefully we'll beat Radcliffe and I can start to cheer up a bit. It's because I'm poorly. That's what I'm moaning about. A little bit of news. Shane Phillips is on the verge of becoming our all-time record appearance holder, which is nuts, really, when you consider how few games he started. He started 6 games in the first season, 6 games last year, 8 games this season. So he's only ever started 20 games for us. But the existing record is, I think, Anthony Harris. It could be Dean Morris. Let's have a look who holds the current record. So records... Anthony Harris on 74. So Shane Phillips is going to draw level on 74 appearances in this next match, and then we'll go past him afterwards. Harris still all-time record goal scorer, although Powell is probably going to be chasing that down now. He's on 44 league goals. So still a little way to go, but should break that record this season. But Shane Phillips about to become our all-time record appearance holder. Just the one change for the Radcliffe game then, and it is an attempt to get Buckley into the team, because now I remember him. This was some of my Christmas Eve excitement, was bringing this guy in. That's why I offered him so much money, because he looks like he's going to be very, very good. He's the best central midfielder we've got at the club. Mark Helm is a pretty decent one as well, who I don't think I've even played. I may have forgotten he exists. I mean, he could potentially come into the team instead of Phillips. Take the record away from Phillips. But we've got a lot of decent central midfield players now. If we could just find a decent attacking midfielder, we could do a good old Kev 4-3-1-2, but we don't really have anyone who's any good playing there. I wonder if Phillips only in the team for nostalgia. He's only a 2.5-star player. We have central midfielders. We could genuinely switch to the 4-3-1-2 and rob him of the record, but I won't do it today because I'm not a monster. But Buckley is going to play as Mazzala because that's what he wanted to do. It's his best, it's his most natural position. Benson just goes across to the other side, staying as a box-to-box midfielder. And we have got Mark Helm sat there on the bench, ready and willing to come on, and Cottrell, the winger, to come on if needed as well. But we're going to keep going with the diamond. I think realistically we have to keep going with the diamond until we lose a game with it. Surely we've got promoted. We haven't lost yet. It would be very harsh to start switching the system around, even if I'm not happy with the way we're playing. Passionately, fully expect you to. See, I've lost the dressing room. I cannot motivate these boys at all. I don't know why. Oh, I think it's just because of my sore throat. The sore throat is stopping me being able to motivate them. And we've gone 1-0 up after a minute, and it's Josh Thacker, his first goal for the club. Buckley gets the assist as well with the corner. It was a beautiful corner, actually. If we have a look at that, just straight onto Thacker's head. 1-0. There's your reason for getting Buckley in the team. Imagine if he's a young, even more non-league version of David Noble off of the first season of Non-League to Legend this year, who was just a corner and free kick expert. He basically created all our goals that season. If you haven't watched Non-League to Legend yet, which, by the way, you should. It's good. But David Noble was a superstar at doing that. It would be nice if Buckley was going to do it for us at this level. Jake Wright's in again, and again, disappoints. Straight at the keeper. But the one thing that is noticeable is whatever we're doing, we're not really getting the best out of Mick Powell. It shows how much of a difference maker Anthony Harris was alongside Powell. I always suspected he was the better of the two, and I imagine that's probably ended up being proven now by the fact that, by the fact that Powell is struggling without Harris alongside him. Harris, with his direct running, his drifting out into channels, his pace, his power, he created, as well as scoring a lot of goals himself, he created a lot of stuff for Mick Powell. And I think Powell is struggling with not getting enough chances. He's not really a striker who's going to go out there and create something for himself. He needs lots of chances, and he'll score most of them. But we're not creating a lot of chances, and that's another argument for switching up the system and getting some wingers on there who are going to just get the ball to him more often. Benson now, from range. I mean, I don't know why the goalkeeper made such a meal of that. It seemed very tame, but I guess it was well placed. Buckley with another corner, this time doesn't make it to a home shirt, but we're knocking the ball around nicely. We're looking like us again in this first 15-20 minutes of this game. We're playing much better than we have for a while, and Radcliffe up there promotion push with us, so I'm impressed. This is a decent performance so far. More of this, please, lads. Although again, Mick Powell not really been a part of it. Right, Radcliffe get a free kick. Thacker heads clear. He's been good in the air at both ends for the first half hour of this match so far. And I like the fact we are constantly closing down, and we do look solid defensively. That's one of the reasons why I'm so loath to fiddle with the midfield too much. Although Phillips, star rating wise, doesn't look as good as some of the other midfielders that we've got. He is the only natural defensive midfielder that we've got, and having a defensive midfielder has served us well. Powell should have done a little bit better there. He had a good chance there and just fluffed his lines a little bit. Thacker again, a threat from the corner, and Wright picks it up. Jake Wright has been involved in a lot today. Tries to find O'Brien with the cross, but it doesn't get anywhere near him. And I'm worried about Mick Powell. Well, let me know down in the comments, what do we do about Mick Powell? He's doing a reverse Mick Powell at the moment, in that he's there, he's our captain, you know, he is our top scorer, but a couple of those have been penalties. He's not tearing the division apart the way we hoped he would. And I wonder because scout reports and stuff, the coach reports still say he should be a League 2 quality player. So if we've got a League 2 striker who's not tearing the division apart in Tier 7, that tells me we've not built the team correctly to get the best out of him. Right, yes, guard against complacency. Let's go win another game and have Kev continue to moan that he's not got a 40-goal striker at the moment, because that's what I really want. I'll finish mid-table and have a 40-goal striker rather than win the league with boring 1-0 wins. I can't cope with this. It's troubling me far too much. But we're playing very well today. Phillips now. He equals Anthony Harris's appearance record today and did brilliantly there. Finds Buckley. O'Brien back to Buckley and Benson now. Benson back to Phillips. We've got Benson Phillips in our midfield. Oh, that's possibly my favourite thing. Now we can't drop Shane Phillips. We've had Patrick Harris up front in the first season. Now we've got Benson Phillips in midfield. Oh, as if having a team called Holme wasn't puntastic enough. We're building a celebrity all-star 11 of brilliant double-barrelled names. I don't care that we've just gone 2-0 up. I'm genuinely, the thing that's pleased me most on this episode is having Benson Phillips in midfield. Oh, that's amazing. It's a decent finish from Jake Wright again. But, there's the thumbnail sorted. Oh, my word. What a happy, happy day. Right, let's refocus in on the football again. We need another one called Dave now. Years ago, I think does he still play for Brentford? Years ago, Posh used to I'm just telling a story now. It's Christmas holidays. I'll tell stories. Posh had a player called Tamani Diagaraga, who was a midfielder, and his nickname was Dave, presumably because most football fans can't pronounce his name. I've probably just said it wrong. Jake Wright's just scored again. It's offside. But he was known as Dave. I now want to see if he still exists, because I want to have a Dave Benson Phillips midfield, just because it will amuse me. If you're not from the UK and you don't know who Dave Benson Phillips is, I feel really sorry for you, because he basically he was my childhood. I need to Google him, make sure. Yeah, just make sure he's anyway. Let's get on with the game. It worries me when there's a celebrity that I've not heard of for like 15 years. I'm going to Google him now. Right, worry not, we're cool. Dave Benson Phillips is still alive, and he's still an active children's TV presenter, so we're safe to talk about him. What a world we live in, where I have to check before I can talk about somebody. Oh, right. Why are these? I've taken these filters off, and they're still messing around with their order there. Right, let's change our midfield up again. I wonder, do we bring on Mark Helm? But who do we bring him on for? What do you want to be? I've broken up the Benson Phillips midfield. You're a central midfielder or a Carrilero. Should we do a Carrilero and a Mezzala? Let's be double fancy with bells on with our central midfielders, and then Shane. Should we take off the full Benson Phillips? We're gonna. Should we? We could even just go to a 4-4-2. But then I suppose you don't have a Mezzala and a Carrilero in the middle of a 4-4-2. Let's leave Shane Phillips on. And we're going to take off O'Brien. And we are going to do this again. But this time we're going to leave Mick Powell in the middle. And we're going to see what he makes of it. Let's have a look at that. We are going to figure out a way to get the best out of Mick Powell. It's my goal of the season. Oh, and it's 2-2. And I shouldn't fiddle. We were 2-0 up and I've started fiddling and thrown it away. We've played very well as well before that. I don't want to see your silly replay. Let's demand more. At least if I get us our first defeat of the season by switching to the 4-3-3, that'll tell me that the 4-3-3 isn't the answer. Even if we do manage to bring in a good right midfielder who's going to be better than Jake Wright at doing it. But I mean, Jake Wright's name is Wright. He should be able to play on the right, surely. Powell, very deep for a lone striker, finds Critchlow Noble, who's held the ball up well here, finds Cottrell. Cottrell, proper winger, crosses towards Powell, but doesn't get to him. And now Radcliffe have got the opportunity to get a little bit of a break on. And they are swarming all over us here. And we need to get a crunching tackle in on Garlic. Oh, we've got to crunch the garlic. Oh, I shouldn't be making... I've taken a lot of cold and flu medication. I shouldn't be making videos in my current state. I know I'm not thinking straight. All this stuff that in my mind is hilarious. Kev, you don't crunch garlic, you crush garlic. It wasn't funny. Doesn't matter if it was funny. It was funny to me. And all the cold and flu medication I'm on. Right, Thacker. Can we grab a winner here? That felt like a penalty to me. I've lost the game. I've lost the game. When I said I'd lost the game there, I didn't mean we'd lost the match. I'd minimised the screen and couldn't find a way to... I genuinely don't feel like I should be making videos in my current state. Right, we're going to bring on Cameron Archer for Mick Powell and try this front three again and see if it's got a goal in it late on in this game. We're going to try and get creative as soon as we get the opportunity to. But first, let's have a look to see if we can create a goal without getting creative. It's Helm. First chance to have a look at him. Finds Buckley. Buckley can't get it all the way across to Davis. And now Radcliffe have got the opportunity to have a little bit of a break on again. Jake Wright comes back with a decent tackle. He doesn't look too bad an option on that right wing. Maybe I've been a bit too harsh on Jake Wright. Maybe he is a better player than I give him credit for. And it's just the fact that he's not Anthony Harris, which troubles me. Buckley now in midfield. This midfield has looked solid. Cottrell now. crosses towards right. Right is probably the weak link, but finds Cottrell. I mean, we're crossing it back and forth, and eventually Cameron Archer gets on the end of one of them. And remember, Cameron Archer was the one who was my great hope of the new signings that came in. If anyone was going to come in and be a new Anthony Harris, it was going to be Cameron Archer. Came in from Villa in the summer with bags of potential, and he finally grabs his first goal. And, you know, tactically, that was crosses coming in there. It took a while for anyone to get on the end of them, but crosses have worked there. So perhaps the 4-3-3 is a tactic we need to persist with a little bit more. Wright has looked brilliant again there. Jake Wright just drifting past players. Have we accidentally stumbled across a decent winger who we signed as a striker? Ball over the top. The defence is very static there, and that was really poor defending. That was pathetic. He was completely unmarked. We will look at this replay because the defence was just static. He gets in behind and then you think he's wasted it, but no. He's just played it beyond all the three defenders that we had. Our left back had come across so far. Right, now we get creative. Cottrell didn't make it all the way back, and it was poor defending all round. But I guess Radcliffe are a team that are in and around the playoff picture with us, so it's not a disaster that we've not beaten them. We maintain our unbeaten record. We're still in the playoffs at the end of the episode. I am a little bit upset that we've had 32 shots and 4 clear-cut chances compared to their 10 shots and no clear-cut chances, and it's only been 3-3. That suggests all that talk of us being solid defensively and can't create. We've actually created a load today and scored 3 goals at home and have let ourselves down a little bit at the back. So it wasn't our day, but we do need to be better than that defensively. All in all, though, things are going well. We're still unbeaten. We're still in the playoffs, and we're slowly figuring out these new players, I think. I am worried that I've signed too many central midfielders on actual contracts. My plan was only pay weekly salaries to the players who are going to play week in, week out. But I think Benson, Buckley and Holme are all on salary, and I can't play the 3 of them together unless I play a 4-1-3-2. But that might be the answer. We've still haven't found a decent attacking midfielder since Stephen Dunn left. What's he doing? Can we bring him back? Stephen Dunn doesn't exist. Was that his name? Was he Stephen Dunn? Dunn. He went to St Albans. It was with a PH. So he's still at St Albans. St Albans, who are now at our level in the Bostik League Premier Division. But he's on a lot of money. We can't bring him back. It would be nice. I want him back. He only ever played 15 games for us. That shows how long it's been since we've been struggling. We've gone 2 seasons without having a proper attacking midfielder and not changed the tactic up yet. Smashing. Right. We are going to be back somewhere around here probably. Late November. We'll play another bunch of games. That episode will be on Sunday at 11 o'clock. Keeping the festive schedule going for it's going to be like a week and a half longer yet. But we'll play another 6 or 7 games in the league, then come back for something around about there, I think. And obviously you can keep track on all those results between now and then by following Holme FC on Twitter. But if you have enjoyed that episode, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.